Hey guys, Kaijudo here, and I'm back with something I haven't done in quite a while, Japanese card of the week. So, last week I couldn't really get a chance to do it because I was really busy with the cockatrice program and getting the English sets into the game and getting it released with a tutorial and everything. So now that that's finally out of the way, I could finally get back to doing some Japanese Duel Masters card of the week before Kaijudo hits the store shelves. So, this week's Japanese card of the week is this card right here, Hell Scrapper. This card came first in the 14th set in the Japanese card game, and it's pretty cool, and it's very similar to a lot of other cards in the English game, so I'm going to do a lot of comparisons that with this card and the other cards. So, Hell Scrapper is mana cost 7, shield trigger, and its effect is very similar to Apocalypse Vise, but it's 5,000 or less. So it's pretty much destroy any number of your opponent's creatures that have total power 5,000 or less. So you can compare it to this card right here, Apocalypse Vise, in which it does the same thing but 8,000 or less, but it's not a shield trigger. So these both have their uses in different kinds of decks. Now the thing is, since this is a shield trigger, you can use it in a lot more decks, whereas this one, you can only really use it if you know you can hard cast this card easily, like in decks that have a lot of mana excel, or control decks that can easily get to turn 7 with the right cards. So it really depends on what kind of deck you're using, but if you're using, Mana Excel and you have a control deck, this card would probably be a lot better because you want to get this going, and you could kill a big creature with 8,000, or you could kill like 5 of their creatures. It's really, really, really good card. I mean, you're practically destroying their whole field with this card almost, unless they have a lot of powerful creatures like an aggro deck or something, but this is just a really, really good card. Now, comparing it to Hell Scrapper can be used in a lot more decks that, you don't really have to rely on mana or whatever, because you can easily run at least 4 of these, which I would recommend. I wouldn't recommend going less than 3, because you really want this in shields for it to be useful. And you could easily put this down with Emerald, or Mana Nexus, or anything really, and you could just destroy usually 2 to 3 creatures with this, or you could destroy a big 5,000 creature. But this card isn't really good in getting rid of those big creatures that this card can. But then again, you could just use cards like Terror Pit instead of these two to destroy a big creature. So this is more of just a field clearing card, and it's easy to play, and it could really screw up Rush at the beginning too, because usually they have three, 4 creatures turn 3 or whatever, and then if they attack into this, they just lose their field and they don't really have any presence, and you could easily win the game from there. Now, this card can also be compared to this card right here, Burst Shot, in which they're both shield triggers, and they both also have their pros and cons, whereas Burst Shot destroys every single creature on the field that has 2,000 or less power, but this one, you get to choose, however many creatures that add up to 5,000. So, once again, it really depends on your deck. If you're running a lot of creatures that have 2,000 power or less, Burst Shot is probably not the card for you, because you could just use this card to clear out most of their field, which does pretty much the same thing as Burst Shot. So, in the end, Hell Scrapper is a lot better for anti-rush, but unless you're using a deck that doesn't use many 1,000 or 2,000 power or less creatures, then Burst Shot is easily the better choice, because you could just destroy their whole field anyway without even worrying about your own creatures. But it's pretty hard to get a good deck going that have like no creatures with 2,000 or less, because let's face it, you want to have your early plays so that you get field presence along with your opponent, and not having those early plays is already pretty bad for you. So either way, these are all really good cards in their own way, and I would recommend all of them. They're all really, really good. This card's really popular in Japan. It's been played in like at least 10,000 different decks that I've looked around on a site and stuff like that. And this actually has a better version of a card in Japan now. It's in the newer sets. It's a Super Flaming Hell Scrapper, and it's pretty much the exact same thing, but it's level 6 instead of 7, meaning it's even easier to play and a lot better. And that I would prefer. Obviously, that card is way better than this, but at the time, this was like the best fire spell for destruction. So apart from that, let's just talk about some interesting things about this card that I found on the wiki. Props to Yami Michael for all that. But Hell Scrapper, on the card, if you look closely at the creature that's about to get killed by it, that is actually Adventure Boar right here. He's gonna die to Hell Scrapper. No. So yeah, that's Gorby's autograph. And another interesting thing, this card has been reprinted the most out of I think there's 4 cards that also got reprinted as much. There's this card, Bronze Arm Tribe, Terror Pit, and Aqua Surfer that all got as many reprints as this card. And in each reprint that had new cards, new creatures that are getting killed, and I don't really remember them now, but yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you like this week's Japanese card of the week, and stay tuned for the next one next week, either Friday or Saturday or whenever I get it up. So yeah, see you later, guys.